As I said before, they also insert chemo, and I ended up with a temporary stoma for about 9 months, which is a bit hard, you know, to get used to. It's not something I was actually prepared for, because at one point I was told I wasn't likely to get it, but obviously as a result, being more problems were discovered in the surgery that couldn't be seen on the CT scan, I ended up with a temporary stoma.
So the stoma was there for how long for you?
It was there till about May this year.
Okay. Now, a lot of people watching, when they have a bowel cancer, they're afraid of the idea of having a stoma. It's an unfamiliar thing. It's something that, you know, most people are not comfortable with, let's put it that way. But how did you find it once you had the procedure? Did you get help to manage it? Did you have stoma nurses? Or?
We had stoma nurses, and it is a hell of a shock.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not prepared, because until really they went did the surgery, you can't see everything on a CT scan. So they did these, I'm gonna say, and to be honest with you, even up till almost before I had it reversed, it still was does knock your confidence if you're not a very confident person.
Of course.
Because you're always worried about what can happen if you go out. You're always self-conscious, and it is always in the back of your mind.
Yeah. One of the worries is that the stoma might leak, or it might become detached. In reality, is that a real risk? Does it happen?
I only have happened maybe twice in the 9 months, and most of that time when I was in bed. Twice it happened, but other than that, no.
It never happened when you were out?
No.
Okay. And did your confidence improve then when you were gradually venturing out with it over time? It
did, but it was still something that you automatically just kept on checking.
Yeah.
Just by touching, just making sure everything was all right. I was still aware of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it had become a natural part. It was still something completely different. I suppose the longer period of time you would get more used to it, but I think it depends on each individual is going to deal with it differently.
Yes. Did it restrict what you could or couldn't do?
Well, if it does restrict your diet, there are certain things you can't eat. You can't eat fibrous food, pork you can't eat, anything with fruit, nuts in you can't eat, because it can actually block the stoma.
Really? So anything that's kind of hard to digest.
Yeah.
With this
so you can imagine, let's say,
slow transit time.
For example, if you like Christmas pudding, that would be on the list that you can't eat. You've got to be very careful, and then you have to eat certain things to thicken up the discharge from the stoma.
Yeah.
Which meant I had to eat jellied sweets such as wine gums, which I do not like, but you have to eat them as part of the thing to help thicken.
What about those classically unhealthy things like dairy produce or high sugar content food, sweets, that kind of thing?
Certain sweets, if they've got nuts in, or fruit, raisins, you just tend to stay away from.
Yeah.
Popcorn, no. There are so many things. It's a case of just being aware and just checking what's in certain foods, as if you would do with any food condition.
And do they give you that list, or do you find out the hard way?
They do tend to prepare you as to what you can and cannot eat.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they'd send you out and say, go in and eat, find out for yourself. But I think a lot of it is because of the aperture it's going to be coming out of is not as big as the normal discharge system.
Yeah, I understand. Eventually, you had the stoma reversed. Yeah. I'm sure that was a relief for you. What was it like having that reversal and then going back to the normal system, as it were?
Well, the first thing is you have to have a test before you get the reversal. So really, you go down. I went down on the funny thing. I'd actually agreed to go back to work with the stoma in a meeting on one. I went into in May, and I had a phone call in the afternoon. I'd just come back from the meeting that said, "Could you come in next Thursday for the test, and your operation will be on the Friday?" I started to feel, I can't come back on the agreed date as I'm going back into hospital. The first thing is you wait for the results of the test. Until you get the results of the test that you can actually have it, you still are not confident until you get, you know, like anything, until something's signed on the dotted line, you've got the proof and you think, yes. And then I went in on the Friday for the surgery. And as far as I'm aware, the first thing I did when I was told, my mum told me it's gone, was just to lift up and just check it had actually gone. Lift up the sheets and just check it wasn't. I don't remember that because I think I was still a bit coming out of the anaesthetic. But I think that's a human reaction that we'd all just double checking, yes, it has gone.
Yeah, absolutely. So after that kind of gap, you had the reversal, and then did life kind of start to get back to normal?
Yeah, because I was in hospital for 5 days, and then you come out, but your wound still needed dressing every day at that point.
Yeah.
And then it decreases to every other day.
Okay.
And then luckily, just before I agreed to go back work again, when they saw the district nurses, they said, no, you don't need to put anything on it now.
Right.
Leave it alone. You can go back work without having to come in to have dressing put on it.
And just for the viewers' benefit, you mentioned this test that you had to have the night before, but what was that test?
It's an enema-based test.
Okay.
Which which is not very pleasant.
No. You're checking the bowel is working again?
They were checking the bowel's working, and also that there's no damage in the bowels and or blockages caused by the surgery.
Yeah.
Because also you can have, as a result of that, is scar tissue within just making sure everything flowed through.
Okay.